Hello, I'm Beth Wagner, physical therapist. This video is all about how to fix forward head posture. First, I'll talk a little bit about what forward head posture is, how to know if you have forward head posture, and then we'll talk about posture correction. I'll show you 4 excellent exercises to help maintain neutral alignment, and then I'll share a couple other tips to help reduce forward head posture. First, forward head posture describes positioning where the head and the chin are jutted forward. I'll show you this from the side. In forward head posture, we see the head and the chin forward, so that the head is clearly forward of the rest of the spine and forward of the center of gravity. Another key to forward head posture is the alignment of the ears relative to the shoulders. Midline alignment would have the ears directly over the shoulders. With forward head posture, the ears are forward of the shoulders. Typically, what we see with forward head posture is exaggerated curves in the cervical spine, possibly an S curve instead of the normal C curve. So looking from the side here, instead of a gentle C curve in the spine, with forward head posture, we tend to see an exaggerated curve at the top of the upper back going into the neck, and we see a compensatory curve at the top of the neck going into the head. So it looks a little bit more like an S instead of the normal C curve. We typically see tight pectoral muscles in the front of the chest and weak or lengthened deep flexor muscles in the front of the neck. We also see tight muscles in the suboccipital region and tight and overworked extensor muscles in the top of the upper back and base of the neck. There could be many different symptoms associated with forward head posture. Some of the most common include neck and upper back pain and headaches. There can also be dizziness, numbness, tingling, weakness, and many more symptoms. Often, forward head posture occurs in conjunction with postural fault throughout the rest of the spine and the pelvis. Typically, we see an exaggerated tilt in the pelvis, either anterior pelvic tilt or posterior pelvic tilt. And the pelvic tilt is associated with changes in the curve of the lumbar spine. We typically either see an exaggerated curve into hyperlordosis, or we see flat back posture where the lumbar spine curve is flattened, or we see a sway back posture where the curves throughout the spine are exaggerated. Now, the cervical spine has to compensate for these faults lower down in the spine in order to keep our head level so that we can see more clearly. Other contributing factors include slouch sitting, sitting unsupported, and eye strain associated with long duration use of computers and other devices. Okay, so I'll go through a quick posture correction starting at the base. And these adjustments might be a little bit different for you depending on your posture. Starting in a seated position with good support underneath you, we'll first adjust the pelvis to midline alignment. So feel your pelvis and make sure that you're right in the middle, that you're not tipped too far forward and you're not slouched back. Once you feel that your pelvis is right in the middle, then feel your lumbar spine. You should feel your normal, natural curve, not an exaggerated arch and also not rounded back. Moving up the spine, lift your chest and relax your shoulder blades down and back. And perform a little bit of a chin tuck, bringing your chin straight back so that your ears are lined up right over your shoulders. The final step is to imagine a string attached to the top of your head. Gently pull that string up in order to elongate your spine and get as much space as possible between each vertebra. This posture correction is helpful to do throughout the day. Working on your devices, driving, performing activities around your house, and while resting. As you do this posture correction more and more, and you get a better feel for where your midline posture is, you'll notice more often when you are sitting in forward head posture. You'll be able to correct it a little bit easier. Now I'll show you 4 excellent exercises to help maintain neutral spine and help you further get out of forward head posture. These exercises will help you get a feel for midline posture and will help restore normal muscle balance in the areas that we see affected and are associated with forward head posture. We'll start with anterior and posterior pelvic tilts. These exercises help to restore neutral or midline alignment of the pelvis. And it'll help you get a feel for where your pelvis is and how to correct the alignment. Start lying on your back on a firm surface with small to medium amount of pillow support. Bend your knees so your feet are flat on the surface and your arms relaxed by your side. Starting with the posterior pelvic tilt, engage the deep abdominals by bringing your belly button in toward your spine, doing a small crunch movement through the lower part of your abs. And roll your pelvis back so that the back part of your pelvis is rolling down into the surface. Pause here, feeling your lumbar spine flatten into the surface and feeling how your pelvis is tilted backward. Make sure to keep your shoulders and your neck relaxed. After a few seconds here, relax to the starting position. Now we'll move into an anterior pelvic tilt. Engage the muscles in the lumbar spine in order to arch your back, lifting your belly toward the ceiling and rotating your pelvis forward. So the top of your pelvis is going to rise up toward the ceiling and the arch in your low back is going to be accentuated. Pause and then lower back to the starting position. I also recommend patterning your breathing with this movement. Inhale to start, and as you exhale, rock back into the posterior pelvic tilt, flattening your spine and engaging the lower abdominals. And then inhale back to the starting position. Exhale as you lift into an arched position, into the anterior pelvic tilt. Inhale as you lower to the rest position. Continue alternating between the posterior pelvic tilt and the anterior pelvic tilt with slow, smooth motion back and forth. You might notice that one of the tilts is easier for you and one is a little bit more challenging. That's quite normal. It's one of the reasons why we're practicing these alternating pelvic tilts, is so that you get a chance to feel what is most natural for you and what is more challenging for you, and to improve the ability to move into the direction of tilt that is more challenging for you. After 10 repetitions, come back to the resting position and either gently place your hands on your abdomen or along your side. Close your eyes and feel where your pelvis is in space. Notice the alignment. See if you can find the midpoint where you're not rounded down into a posterior pelvic tilt or arched into the anterior pelvic tilt. See if you can find that spot right in the middle. Take a few breaths here to let this position sink in and to really feel it. The next exercise is bird dog. This will help to align the entire spine from your pelvis to the neck. Start on all fours with your hands about shoulders distance apart, flat on the surface under your shoulders, and your knees about hips distance apart and just underneath your hips. Gently pull in your lower abdominals to maintain a flat spine, so you're not arched with your belly sagging and you're not rounded up toward the surface, but right in the middle. Perform a little bit of a chin tuck, bringing the back of your head straight up toward the ceiling and tucking your chin. Just to make sure that you're not in forward head posture, letting your head sag down. But you have good alignment in the neck. From here, lift the right leg, pointing your toe to the wall behind you. Keep the level of your leg below your hip. So this isn't lifting the leg up in the air like that. This is lifting the leg straight out, not up toward the ceiling. Pause, bring that leg back in, and repeat on the other side. Extend the left leg out behind you, pointing to the wall. Pause, and come back in. Now the next step is to add opposite arm lift. As you lift the right leg, pointing your toe toward the wall behind you, lift your left arm, reaching and pointing the fingers to the wall in front of you. Pause here and bring the leg and the arm back together at the same time. And switch sides. As you lift your left leg, lift the right arm. Toes to the wall behind you, fingers to the wall in front of you. Pause and come back. Try to maintain a neutral spine throughout the entire movement, so you're not arching or rounding your back. Continue alternating sides with slow, smooth motion, reaching, pausing at the top, returning to the center, and switching sides. Keep your abdominals engaged throughout the entire motion. Perform 10 repetitions, or as many as you can do to start with. Next up is a pec stretch. The focus here is to stretch the muscles in the front of the chest that tend to make the shoulders roll forward. So in order to have upright, neutral posture, we need to have good flexibility through the front of the chest, through the pectoral muscles. Starting with tall posture, lift your arms up and out to the side, palms faced forward. From here, lift your arms up in the air as you gently try to press the back of your arms toward the wall behind you. Lift up just enough to form a W, pause, and then lower. And don't let your head jut forward. Be sure to keep your chin retracted and keep your shoulders relaxed down and back. And lift your fingers up, pressing your arms back toward the wall behind you. Pause, and then lower. And lift up, pause, and lower. Exhale as you lift, and inhale as you lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. Continue 10 repetitions, or as many as you can to start with. If you start to feel some numbness and tingling in your hands, lower your arms, shake it out and rest for a moment, and then return to the exercise. Now we'll finish with deep neck flexor training. We'll start in the same position as the pelvic tilts. However, this time I recommend not having any pillow support. Make sure to keep your shoulders relaxed by gently pressing them down into the surface and sliding your hands down towards your hips. Now, with your head and your shoulders resting comfortably on the table, inhale to prepare for the exercise. And as you exhale, tuck your chin down towards your chest and just barely begin to initiate the movement of lifting your head off the table. But don't completely lift your head off the table. Just unweight your head very slightly. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Pause for a few seconds and then release. Relax your head. Again, as you exhale, tuck your chin and barely lift your head. Pause. Continue breathing and then release and relax your head. Again, tuck the chin and barely begin to lift. Hold the position, but keep breathing. After a few seconds, release and relax. In addition to the posture correction and the exercises for strength and flexibility, there are a couple other key components to fixing forward head posture. The first is an ergonomic assessment for proper positioning while using devices. Check out the space where you use your phone, tablet, or a computer, or any other type of equipment on a regular basis. I've already posted a video on workspace ergonomics that will take you through the proper positioning of your chair, your desk, and your devices to decrease neck pain and other symptoms. Check out the link in the description below to watch that video. Also important is an updated vision exam. Uncorrected vision and eye strain are significant contributing factors to forward head posture, because if we aren't seeing clearly, it's very easy to end up leaning forward or sticking our head out forward in order to see better. You want to be sure that you're using a proper prescription and your corrective lenses. And that will also help you adjust your space so that you're sitting at an appropriate distance away from the device. Another thing to help reduce eye strain is to adjust the font size on your devices. Also, I recommend taking a break from working on devices every 20 minutes. All right, that wraps up this video addressing how to fix forward head posture. I hope that you found this information and these exercises helpful to help you get back to doing the things you love to do every single day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Leave any questions and comments down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able. Here's to your healing, health, and happiness. Have a wonderful day.